Hello and welcome to our channel, English Waves, where you not only improve your English, but also transform your life. If you lost everything today, no money, no job, no help, what would you do? Most people would panic. But what if I told you that a man, who had nothing, not even a roof over his head, figured out the secret to success? One day, a single conversation flipped his world upside down. It made him question everything, and within just 7 months, he went from begging for coins at a railway station to running a successful business. How did he do it? What did he discover? And most importantly, how can you use this secret to change your own life? Stay with me, because this story might just change the way you think about success and might be exactly what you need to hear today. At a railway station in a bustling city, a beggar spent his days seeking alms from passengers. His life was simple: beg, collect money, and survive. One day, while asking for money, his eyes landed on a tall man dressed in an elegant suit. The beggar's instincts kicked in. This man looks rich. If I ask him for alms, he might give me a hefty amount. Without wasting time, he approached the man and asked for money. But instead of reaching for his wallet, the tall man looked at him and asked, "You are always asking, but do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar was stunned. No one had ever asked him this before. He hesitated before replying, "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I always rely on others for help. I don't have anything to give." The tall man smiled and said, "If you cannot give anything, then you have no right to ask for anything either. I am a businessman. I believe in give and take. If you have something to offer me, only then will I give you something in return." With that, he boarded the train and left, leaving the beggar in deep thought. The beggar couldn't shake off the man's words. "Is that why I don't get much money? Because I never give anything back," he wondered. But then, a wave of doubt hit him. "I'm just a beggar. What could I possibly give? If I don't figure this out, I'll be stuck begging for the rest of my life." For 2 days, he wrestled with this question, finding no answer. Then, on the 3rd day, as he sat near the station, he noticed beautiful flowers blooming nearby. And then it hit him. What if I give people flowers in return for their alms? Excited by the idea, he plucked a few flowers, stepped onto a train, and began his new experiment. Whenever someone gave him money, he handed them a flower in return. Something unexpected happened. People smiled. They liked receiving something in return. The beggar felt a strange, but wonderful feeling inside: pride. For the first time, he wasn't just taking, he was giving. And he noticed something else. More people were now giving him money. Day after day, he continued his new approach, collecting flowers in the morning and offering them in exchange for alms. But soon, he faced a problem. What would he do when there were no more flowers? Still, something had changed within him. He was no longer just a beggar. He was thinking like a businessman. One day, while on the train, he spotted the same tall man again. His heart raced with excitement. He ran up to him and said, "Sir, today I have something to give you, a flower. If you give me alms, I will give you a flower in return." The tall man smiled, handed him some money, and accepted the flower. Looking at him, he said, "Look at you. Today, you're a businessman just like me." With those words, he got off the train and disappeared into the crowd. But the beggar stood there, frozen. His heart pounded. A businessman? Me? His hands trembled as he looked at the remaining flowers in his basket. All this time, I thought people were giving me money out of pity. But they weren't. They were paying for the flowers. They didn't see a beggar. They saw a businessman. But I was the only one who failed to see it. A fire lit up inside him. He stepped off the train, lifted his head toward the sky, and with all his might, shouted, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I can become rich." People around him stared, some laughing, others whispering that he had lost his mind. But he didn't care, because, for the first time, he truly believed in himself. And then, the next day, he disappeared from the station. 7 months later, at the same railway station, 2 well-dressed men sat across from each other on a train. One of them leaned forward, extended his hand, and said, "Do you recognize me?" The other man looked at him, puzzled. "No, I don't believe we've met before." With a chuckle, the first man replied, "Think again. This is our 3rd meeting." Intrigued, the second man asked, "I don't remember. When did we meet before?" Smiling, the first man said, "We met twice before, on this very train. I was the beggar you once spoke to. The first time, you made me realize what I needed to change. The second time, you helped me see who I truly was." The second man's eyes widened in recognition. "Oh, now I remember. You were the beggar I once refused to give money to. The second time, I bought flowers from you, but today, you're in a suit. What are you doing now?" The first man's smile widened. "Yes, I was that beggar. But today, I am a successful flower businessman. I'm traveling to another city for business." After a brief pause, he continued, "During our first meeting, you taught me that we only receive when we give. But for a long time, I still thought like a beggar. It wasn't until our second meeting that I realized I had already become a businessman. People weren't giving me money out of charity. They were paying for the flowers. The whole city saw me as a businessman, but I still saw myself as a beggar. Your words helped me understand my true worth. With the money I earned, I reinvested in more flowers, expanded my business, and built a life I never thought possible." Both men smiled, shook hands, and stepped off the train, walking side by side as equals. Moral of the story: this story teaches us a powerful lesson. Success begins with the way we see ourselves. The tall businessman understood the law of give and take, a rule that all successful entrepreneurs follow. The beggar adopted this mindset, and it changed his life forever. If we think small, we stay small. If we think big, we create opportunities. So, remember, you are not a beggar. You are a businessman. You are capable. You are worthy. You are powerful. Believe in yourself, think big, and success will follow.